Morning, cloudy, and thank God for the moisture that we received. What little bit we received, I guess, that's, some is better than none.
There you go.
So, you received the consent agenda prior to the meeting. Hopefully, everybody had a chance to take a look at it. Any questions with regards to the agenda or minutes or financial or income statements? None? I'll hear a motion to approve.
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second it. Go ahead.
Oh, it's a battle.
All righty. The battle's done. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Public comments. Looks like we got a few people. Lon, anything?
Just glad to be here for another day.
Well, was glad to see you. We're glad to see you for another day. So,
Talking to coffee this morning about getting older and
Huh.
burying a longtime friend today. But,
oh wow. Sorry for your loss.
yeah,
Yeah.
life is life.
Uh, Life is short when you get older, isn't it? Very short. So, well, public comments are completed. Let's go to the update from Miss Lana Duvall, President.
All right. Good morning.
Good morning.
See if that's going to stay balanced. It's trying to wobble on me. All right. Project 322, this is a new prospect, codenamed Montrose. It's an international prospect, considering siting a manufacturing facility here in Finney County, and they are visiting the community next week. So we will certainly keep you posted on how that goes. Prospect 292-22, codenamed Niagara. This is a project that we've been working with now for a little over a month, and we've had some excellent discussions with utilities. This is a large utility manufacturing facility, and quite frankly, the utilities were the biggest piece of us being able to get it worked out. Physical location won't be as big of a challenge as meeting the utility needs. So we have had some follow-up discussions with them. Our most recent meeting with them was on Monday afternoon, and we have another meeting scheduled with them for next week as well. Innovation is one of the Department of Commerce RFIs. We've heard absolutely no updates on any of the Department of Commerce projects that are out there. Housing Project 521, this is part of the Quinby area, the envelope between Garden City and Holcomb. We did have a follow-up meeting with the landowner on those projects when we were preparing the base grant applications we prepared a base grant application on behalf of the county to look at potentially getting some of the funding secured for that wastewater solution that we're looking for over there. And so we did meet with the landowner again, talked through that. He obviously offered a letter of support for the base grant, so we'll continue to watch and see how we can come up with the funding to get that project done. As a reminder, that wastewater solution would open up several hundred acres for both industrial and residential development. So certainly one of the things that we're going to have to continue to focus on, and we'll be discussing it a little bit more when we have our retreat next month, just as we look at the housing goals that have been set for the community and how we're going to get there. That west side is going to be a very big part of making those goals happen. Project 321, this is the USDA duplexes located up on North 3rd, and they have started on infrastructure for the first phase of those. As a reminder, they already have the second USDA application in. They were invited to apply for their second phase right away, which they've done. So we'll continue to work with them and assist them as they go through that process. Project 820, this one is Lost River. We've had some follow-up discussions with them. As a reminder, this is the development, 67 acres, starts with single family, pretty high-end single family at one end and then goes back into higher density. We have cottage development in it. We have townhomes, duplexes, smaller lot, single family, a little bit of everything, as well as some apartments. And we did have a discussion with some apartment developers with these landowners pursuing the opportunity that perhaps they would come in and do the apartment piece, which would have been the last piece that the developer would have done. So we'll continue to work through that and see if we can make that come together.
When you say high-end, what kind of dollars are we talking about?
For the first phase of their housing, 750,000 and up.
Okay.
Yeah, mostly customs, but certainly the opportunity for some speculative in there as well. Any
So
other
will
questions?
those be local builders?
Those lots are available
Available
for
purchase?
anyone.
Okay,
Mhm,
gotcha.
Yes, they certainly are. We've had quite a bit of interest from both local builders who have clients looking for custom builds, as well as from just some general public who's seen the presentation on the development and want the opportunity to do a custom build. Any other questions on the housing projects? Okay. Project Daytona, this is the mixed-use development that we've been working on. Things are moving pretty rapidly with that. As we said at the last meeting, there's not currently a zoning classification that allows us to do mixed use outside of the core district, the downtown area. So that's one of the things that we've been working on with the Neighborhood Development Service Office. And that should go before the City Commission to establish that zoning classification in April. Western Kansas Corridor, we got through the final approval through the City Commission. This is a county project, but because counties are not allowed in the state of Kansas to establish tax increment finance districts, we had to work with both entities. The county had to approve it, but the city of Garden City actually had to be the ones to take the legal steps to establish that district. And we had that final step last Tuesday, and it was approved overwhelmingly. This will be an excellent opportunity to see how well things go when we're working outside of the incorporated area. You know, most of our projects for quite a while, and specifically commercial projects, have been within the city of Garden City. So this will be different, having county staff to work on getting these approvals in and getting things done. Obviously, Neighborhood Development Service Office is the same, and they contract with the county to provide their services. So we don't anticipate a lot of challenges, but certainly going to be a good opportunity to see how that works when we're doing development in the county. As we know, we'll be doing more and more of that over the next few years.
So will that electricity be Wheatland Electric?
Yeah,
Okay.
Wheatland Electric and Wheatland Rural Water
Oh,
District.
okay.
Yes. Sorry. It's Rural Water District
All right.
and Wheatland Electric.
All right, thank
Yes.
you.
And Black Hills Energy.
Yes.
Yes. And the wastewater on that was kind of one of the hangups. We have been working with the county to get that secured. They have an engineer now that they're contracting with, and things seem to be moving along to get us the answers we need on connecting into the lift station that's across the highway from that facility. Currently, that wastewater from the lift station goes in, and the city takes that flow just a little bit down Taylor. So that's been a little bit of a challenge getting the county engineering up to speed on what needed to happen with the lift station. But we did submit a draft of a development agreement to the county. They just haven't done a project, certainly not of this magnitude, in a very long time. So we submitted a draft that allows them to go in, and their legal counsel can then modify that and do what needs to be done to get that development agreement in place. But like I said, now that they have a contract engineer, things seem to be moving a little more smoothly.
There was a traffic study that needed to be conducted for that. Did that get
Right.
completed?
Traffic
and-
impact study, yeah, so the counts have all been completed, and they've been working, PEC Engineering is who's been doing the project for Western Kansas Corridor. So they've been talking with KDOT, with KDHE, with really everybody who's gonna have to have approvals from the state level. They've been talking to them since we started this project last May. So everybody is aware of what's coming and so forth. On KDOT side, the primary entrance is the one directly, just follows Acro Way right across the highway. We anticipate we'll have to have turning lanes to get folks off of 83 and get them in. But then there's a second entrance that's also proposed as part of that. for a few reasons. There's no county road on the north end
side.
of that development. There's a ditch instead, so we have to have that second entrance in order to allow fire department access and obviously just ease of traffic. So we'll continue to work with the traffic engineers through PEC and KDOT to get those established and completed. And there may be some, we may have limitations on that second entrance. It may be right only, might be only right in, right out. We don't know. We won't know that until the impact has been fully determined.
There's a county road to the north of, the first road to the north of the bypass, I'll call it. Is it anticipated that that will eventually be paved? Is that, no?
That's where the ditch is.
Oh, okay,
No,
gotcha.
the county road's a half mile north of this property.
Okay, gotcha. All right. That's the one that goes into, I don't know, that housing addition up north there, right? Yeah.
You can get to Third Street from there.
Yeah.
So the city limits stop at the bypass?
Just shy of it, when you're going that direction, yes. Yeah, we're not up against the bypass yet on Taylor. Anything else there?
I don't think so, thank you.
You're welcome. I should also mention, we we had a follow-up meeting with Rural Water District last week. They've never done an expansion of their district, and this does require an expansion. So again, we've been meeting with them, with the developer since last May, so they've been well aware that this was coming, but they didn't have development agreements or anything else in place either, because they haven't done an expansion in a long time. So we did get them, met with them, talked with their legal counsel, got them some draft agreements that they can work with, and then we've made ourselves available if they'd like us to come meet with their board and make sure everybody has an understanding of how it'll work. But they're excited about having an expansion of the district and some additional industry to serve, so.
Just on a side note, I had the opportunity to sit in on one of those meetings with the developer, and he had nothing but compliments for the entire staff and Lana and all the her work that they've done. So know that not only we've noticed her work, but that they, those developers and all the people that they work with, Lana works with, and the entire staff works with, have been very complimentary of everything that they're doing. So it was, thank you for all your hard work, everybody, for everything that you've done.
Yeah, these are pretty big projects. They're pretty monumental for the county, obviously, getting some development out in the unincorporated areas. So it's going to be a lot of fun, but
Yes.
it's certainly a lot of work. Quinby Wastewater updated you a little bit about that. Steve may have further updates in his, but we are supposed to hear the original plan from the state of Kansas was that they would get award information out on the base grants this Friday, the 25th. So we'll see if they're able to meet that timeline. They had a lot of applications, 440, I believe, applications for the base grants. So they have a lot to get through in a month's time. It's been a very busy month. Shannon and I did go to Topeka and were present for the legislative post-audit reports on the industrial revenue bonds, and I'll let him share some additional information on that if he wants to. But if you want to see that, want to see anything or talk about how that went, we're happy to catch you guys up on that too. And we do appreciate you being understanding that Shannon and I kind of had to take off in the middle of a week one week and drive up there for an hour-long meeting and come back. It's what we do, right? We have had the Spark Task Force that I serve on for economic revitalization. Those meetings are live streamed, and then they're available to go back and watch after the fact. I've been amazed at the calls I've received from across the state, from specifically county and city government officials who really have an interest in learning more about the things that we're doing in Finney County. So that's been kind of interesting. A lot of discussion about housing, a lot of discussion about childcare. So it's, again, a lot of work, but I'm thankful I'm on that task force, and hopefully we get some good work done with those dollars. the high school graduation requirements task force has really beefed up, and we are on kind of a sprint to get to the finish line. They really want us to have a plan in place to present to the State Board of Education in May. So the meetings now, we've done virtual meetings up until now, every 2 weeks, but those meetings will now be in person in Topeka. I'm going to do my level best to be present for all of those, but there's just going to be a couple of dates that are going to be tough. So they are still making a Zoom option available, so I can still attend virtually, but I will be trying to make it physically to Topeka about every other week, and then towards the end, it's every week till we get that done. Fortunately, they don't start until just after lunch, so I can leave early in the morning and be back yet that night, so.
Lana, is there a way that maybe we could get a copy of those March meetings added to the bottom of the list? That way the guys have record of everything that you've attended, each and every month, so they kind of know where you're at, what you've been doing, and those types of things.
And you want them where?
Just add them onto the bottom.
Well, they go on, you want them on the minutes, so you want them
That's not the minutes, is it? Well,
Yeah, those are the
your-
minutes.
On your report,
Mhm.
at the end of yours, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so my report is just incorporated into the minutes.
Into the minutes,
Mhm.
okay.
But I'm happy to.
Yeah,
send-
you can
if
just
all
add a page if you want. Would you guys like to see that?
I'm happy to send you all a list of my calendar, or you can,
Oh, no, not your
I
calendar.
can share my
Yeah.
calendar with you if you guys really
No,
want to
no,
see
no,
how
no,
fun
we don't wanna
life
see
can
the
be
calendar.
sometimes. I'm happy to do
I
that.
just thought maybe,
Mm-hmm.
when we're towards the end of the year, when we're looking at things, we see all the meetings you've attended and all of those types of things. that
Yeah, no,
Folks
I'm
can look at that. so.
happy to do that. No, it's not a comprehensive list. We obviously
sure.
don't list
Something just like this would be
confidential
fine, yeah.
meetings
Something
and
like this
such.
would be
Mhm.
fine.
Happy to do that.
All right, thank you.
Uh-huh. And I am doing the superintendent tours, the superintendent candidates. I did one Monday afternoon and another one yesterday afternoon, and then the final one is tomorrow afternoon. I'm very encouraged. We have some excellent candidates looking at that superintendent's position. So,
Outside candidates, outside.
2 outside, 1 internal.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, yesterday I did the internal candidates tour. Again, it's refreshing to see how many people look at anything we do in Garden City and Finney County as something they want to be a part of. So it's been really, really nice to visit with those folks. Both of the candidates that I've toured so far are very development-friendly, very growth-friendly, excited about the opportunity to grow the district as we grow the population. So fear not. I think no matter which candidate they pick, we'll be in great
shape.
position. Mhm. April is shaping up to be very, very busy as
Holy
well.
smokes.
Yeah, so far.
Yeah.
So far, it's looking real good. So, so there's that. I have been doing the KIUL morning interview every other Thursday, and then KBEF reached out and asked if I would do them on the Thursdays I'm not doing KIUL. So just in case you guys get bored, any Thursday morning, you can hear
What
me
time is that?
somewhere on the radio, 7:30.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, Garden City. Yeah, so do feel free. Like I said, it's KIUL one week and KBUF the next, so just stay on the AM dial and you'll find me somewhere.
Okay.
All right, I think,
Maybe
guys,
because I'm retired now, I could set the alarm to that.
and that is something you would want to do. You would not want to miss an update. And speaking of radio programs, I am doing Mike Ward's radio program this Saturday, so
Okay.
that's always
Exciting.
always a fun time. So
Mhm.
if you're really looking for something to do Saturday morning, tune into KBUF at 8 o'clock. And you'll get to hear all about what you should be planting and what you should be putting on your lawns. And you get to hear Mike give me a really hard time. So
Good.
that's all I have. Happy to answer any questions you all have.
Questions for anybody? Right. Well, next on the agenda, it looks like we have Mr. Cottrell, Special Projects Director.
Good morning.
Good morning,
morning.
Steve.
She stole about 90% of my report, so
That's not true.
You trying to bail on us here?
80%,
Okay.
okay. Yeah. Like Lana said, We worked on the base grant application for the Quinby sewer. Rather than the whole $26 million project, we pared it down to about a $13 million. And it's everything basically south of Jones down to the railroad tracks. So it catches the Garden City Company and the two industrial tracks we've been working with, the one landowner and also the two residential potential properties. So got about 500 acres of industrial and probably close to 160 acres of residential that, according to my rough layout concepts, would be somewhere around 800 or 900 dwelling units. So,
Those residential developments, those are south of Jones Avenue?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought they were somewhat north of Jones Avenue as well,
No.
but those were older renditions, I guess.
either that or you potentially are misremembering.
Okay.
I would not come right out and say that you're thinking in the wrong spot, but
We're good there.
we're good, yeah.
Yeah.
Western Kansas corridor, Lana hit pretty good. The TIF is completed. Probably there will be some kind of a interlocal agreement between county and city on who the administration of that,
Restriction.
since it's involves both governmental entities. Decided to go ahead and just keep with the first 11 lot plat. That's the commercial frontage from the entrance road along 83 and then along the bypass, and have immediately started working on a one lot plat for the second edition, which is immediately north of the entrance road. We have a pending contract on that lot, so we had to move that one into rapid gear. Traffic study is underway. Haven't had any discussions with them, so I'm not sure exactly when that gets submitted, but we did get the review comments back on the infrastructure for phase one. Those were distributed yesterday by Neighborhood Development Services, so those plans should be finalized fairly quick, and we'll be able to get that phase one out to bid. Lana forgot to mention that she did work on a base grant application for a couple of spec buildings in that development. So we got two things we're waiting on out of the 400 plus to see if we get funding on. On the residential side, there is finally some visible progress on the sewer trenches in Lost River. Backfill is occurring. Lana said phase one, Hunter's Glen infrastructure is underway, so there'll be a lot of activity in the north end of town with those two residential projects. Yesterday afternoon, I sent the Holcomb Neighborhood Revitalization Program renewal stuff over to Holcomb for the city and council, so expect to have to put your thinking cap on here fairly quick, Ron.
Got it.
And hopefully this week I'll wrap up the first blush of RHID in the unincorporated areas of the county and get that over for county commission in the first meeting in April. So moving along quite well on some of those residential issues. So any questions?
Good work. Thank you. Thanks for all you're doing. Mr. Scott, looks like you're up next on the agenda.
All right. GreaterGardenCity.com had nearly 5,000 visits over the last month. Most view posts had to do with school stuff. Garden City High School girls basketball coach resigned. School hosted the state robotics tournament. And the interviews were scheduled for the 4, 5, 7 school board candidates. Facebook pages, Greater Garden City's Facebook page had 986 page views. Posts reached about 2,000 people and 1,500, 1,600 engaged with them, with the posts. The Garden City Journal had 846 page views, 5,700 post reach. Only had one post in this last month and still have that. And 2,500 people engaged with that post. Top posts again were the girls basketball coach's resignation. A couple of photos that I shared. One of the Garden City Fire Department having some interactions with neighborhood kids. Photos that they took, people liked it. Also a photo share of the state robotics tournament. Other posts that ranked pretty well were a couple of insurance companies that merged, Keller Leopold and Assurance, I think. And then a post about the Garden City optometrist's new building. On Twitter, 45 tweets, about 4,400 people went through their feeds, tweet feeds, Twitter feeds, and 474 people then returned and looked at our Greater Garden City profile, and hopefully that referred to the website. So that's about it. Any questions on this stuff?
The school board candidates, those are the ones that resigned and they're replacing on there?
No,
Is
that was the superintendent
Superintendent?
candidates.
Okay,
You
all
did.
right. yeah,
Anderson.
all righty.
It would appear that Garden City has become a force in robotics.
It's very exciting to see.
Well, with that, we'll move on. Any questions for Scott? None? We'll move on to Mr. Shannon. Dick?
That's actually the way I prefer my name to be announced too, like with that pause in there. Good morning.
Good morning.
I was gonna get by without having to do anything, but Lana reminded me that we did go do the post-audit review with the IRBX. Like she said, we went up there for an hour just to be there if there was any questions. Again, the issues that we had with that is there's an economic impact of a project, right? We can all, we actually don't agree even on that side, but we can all agree there is some economic impact to a project. What they were doing with this report is saying the IRBX is tied to this but for, which means that they were on this report just pulling out one sliver, and it really is like a sliver of that economic impact, and then presenting it to everybody as this is the economic impact of these projects. Only that one little piece that they're linking to the IRBX. And so our rebuttal that we ended up with was actually longer than their initial report. We did have that submitted with the report, so if anybody gets that post-audit review report, there's the report that they generated, and then ours is right next to it and right after it. And I feel like we did a good job of explaining the issues. And it went well in the committee. The places where we thought people would have got tripped up because of the way they presented the data, they did. However, leadership was pretty good and was very positive of the program overall, of IRB programs overall. So it went overall pretty well for given the situation that we were in. I don't feel that there'll be any negative outcomes from that. We just still need to be vigilant whenever somebody pulls out that report. We need to make sure that people realize that this is only talking about one little sliver of an economic impact, not the whole project. So besides that, it went well. I think we did a good job of representing our community and really communities across the state that use those tools to get those projects landed. So besides that, a whole bunch of stuff, but just stuff we can't really get into today with all the stuff that everybody else is talking about. So any questions or anything? I know that's only like 2 minutes.
Shannon, you might touch on the meeting you and I attended on the, with Lon,
Yep.
with regards to the community building.
Oh, yeah, so the county and Commissioner Pishney brought together a bunch of different entities, city, county, CVB, chamber, seems like there's more than that even.
Holcomb.
College, Holcomb, the school districts, to discuss working together and kind of collaborating and getting all of our plans in line for a convention center or a trade show area. And there was one other kind of slash conference center. So really good conversation around that, kind of learning about everybody's plans, what their momentum were going forward in each of their respective things, and then how can we unify that to make sure that we put the effort where it's going to be most impactful. Some good ideas around the fairgrounds and what we can do there. Some really exciting stuff happening at the community college with the things that they're going there. So a good meeting with that, some good conversations, and I think we got some good momentum going forward. Trying to make sure that we don't overlap what each individual group is trying to do and kind of all come together around these consolidated ideas that will benefit our community the best. But I thought it went well.
And simply, we will have a follow-up of this group before we come to the respective boards with some ideas, but there will be at least one more meeting of this group.
Okay. So yeah, so one more meeting before we completely take those out to the boards. So
I'm sorry, Ron was in attendance at that meeting as well, so thank you. So
good job, it was good.
I think my take from that is I think there's gonna be some analysis conducted to see what the needs are, who would be using the facility, how often it would be used, and those types of things, and make a determination on what size, if something was to be built, and go from there. So I think and who would be funding that analysis, and, all of that type of stuff. So that was part of the discussion, I believe. Lon, you correct me if I'm wrong, I think the consensus from everybody there was that those analyses need to be conducted so that the committee could see what actions needed to be taken next. So.
And yeah, I was talking with Commissioner Pishney before the meeting started today about the cooperation that we have in local city and county, but I mean, that's another good testament of one entity calls together and everybody shows up, and really good discussion about what everybody's doing and really trying to work together. So another good thing that we can point to say that, yeah, we do get along and we do try to make sure everybody moves forward together to grow the best community we can. So. Anything else? All right. Thank you.
Thank you. New business. Do we have any new business? None? Do we have any old business?
No, sir. Y'all are really good about getting your job done in the meetings.
Looks like we may have a need for an executive session.
I would request 30 minutes, sir. We have a lot of updates for you.
Okay. So if we have nothing further, I think I'll request a motion to go into executive session for 30 minutes.
Mr. Chairman, just as a reminder on the future meetings, April 27th, we will have our regular meeting, which will be held as scheduled 7:30 in these chambers. That will be followed by the goal-setting retreat that we discussed 2 meetings ago. So that will be April 27th, and we'll be going from here, from our regular meeting, right across the hall to the large meeting room. Our partners will be invited to that. Certainly any of their electeds or administration that would like to attend that goal setting will be invited to attend that. And it will be open to the public, as we will have everybody in attendance there. There won't be any action taken at that goal setting retreat, but certainly the public is
Some
welcome to
discussion,
attend. And then the meeting following that will be on May 25th.
Yes, Commissioner.
Mr. Chairman, just a quick comment. Our commission is interested in that retreat. However, it conflicts with our state and county commission association conference in Salina. So we will try to have representation at that retreat.
Okay.
And know that my absence and maybe absence of some of the other commissioners is not a lack of interest.
I understand. Thank you for letting us know that. Appreciate it. And it wasn't our intention to schedule it at the same time, so, yeah.
We're going to have conflicts.
All righty.
We respect
All righty, thank you, sir. Thanks for letting us know. With that, I'll hear a motion.
Make a motion to go into executive session for 30 minutes.
I'll second that.
Second?
Larry's getting it? Okay. Gee, you tried, Ron.
I'm just
Nice try, Lon. You're a little
slow.
titch slow.
I would have accepted your second.
Oh,
I
thank
just want
you
you to
very
know. All right.